Magnus Carlson is one of the best chess players of all time, but what happens when he faces the best female player of all time? This is Judith Polgar, widely considered to be a chess super genius. With a peak rating of 2,735, Judith has broke a record for the youngest male or female player to achieve the Grandmaster title at just age 15, previously held by Bobby Fischer. Magnus knew this wasn't gonna be easy, as one wrong move and his chess reputation was gonna be ruined forever. Magnus plays d5, a standard opening move, met by the Judith Snyder with f6, the King's Indian defense. A typical high-level matchup exploiting the free space. Magnus launching his center pounds into the center, with Judith getting her bishop on g7 and casting her king to safety. Both players got exactly what they wanted from the opening. After Magnus develops his minor pieces and Judith moves her pawns, we enter a weird variation where Judith queenside minor pieces are underdeveloped. Magnus plays knight g3, attempting to reroute it to a more active square. Judith spends some time thinking before playing her knight to a6, a move which goes against all the chess principles. However, she has a plan. Magnus quickly moves his bishop to f2, looking to castle. Judith plays her queen to c6, and Magnus castles. While Magnus is slightly winning in this position, it's still anyone's game. Judith strikes in the center with e5, attempting to open the d file. Magnus promptly locks the center, and Judith creates some kingside threats with the move h5. But it doesn't seem like much now. This move would go on and cause Magnus many problems. Queen d2 creates a battery for Magnus, and after Judith kicks his knight out and hops in with her own, we start to see why Judith is no pushover. f5 again, Judith strikes in the center, looking to trade her pieces onto the Magnus's kingside. Magnus moves his knight to f3, creating an escape route for his bishop. Judith locks up her pawn chain, and Magnus slides his bishop back before Judith plays knight g3, a knight sacrifice. Realizing if white takes with their pawn, Black is going to recapture and win the bishop anyway, all while exposing Magnus's white king. Magnus cannot take, so he slides his rook out of danger. Judith blocks off white's dark square bishop, and Magnus decides to take the risk and trade off the knight for the bishop. Magnus has to be careful here, as his queen cannot get off bank rank. Seeing this, Magnus plays his queen to g5, targeting Judith's undefended pawn. While Judith cannot defend this, she takes this move to slide her queen to a more active square. Instead of taking, Magnus creates another threat with his knight, forcing Black's queen to a move, then picking up the pawn on g3. Judith decides to move her bishop onto a more active square. Magnus responds by sliding his king up, looking to transfer a rook into her open h5. Black moves her terrible knight to a better square, and Black moves the rook over, attacking the bishop. After some thought, Judith moves her king up to g7, deciding against retreating her extremely active bishop. This is when Magnus offers a queen trade, which Judith almost immediately accepts. Trading down against Magnus can be a risky game, as Magnus is regarded as the best endgame player in history, being able to draw water from a stone, making this risky move. After trading queens, Judith sees a bishop sacrifice, which, after Magnus takes it, she can fork the rook and king, winning material. What Judith didn't anticipate, though, was that the Magnus already knew this was coming, willingly accepting this sacrifice, realizing he could move his king in time, trapping the knight, rendering it completely useless. After this string of moves, Judith is now in deep trouble. Now done on material, time, and position. She needs a miracle, and fast. Rook a6 hangs onto her d6 pawn, but Magnus doesn't even care, as that knight on a1 is all his, picking up his winning like it's an arcade game. Out of the desperation, Judith up Magnus's knight on b5, but this just digs her grave even deeper. Magnus is now up to 2 points of material in a completely winning endgame. All he needs to do is defend his pawns, trade off pieces, and he beats the best female chess player of all time. Judith tries to create an attack on Magnus's g2 pawn, but Magnus has it covered. Judith then makes a last-ditch attempt to capture the white's isolated pawn on b6, but Magnus calmly plays knight b2 with a nasty idea in mind. Judith cannot take his pawn. Judith takes the bait, falling straight into the Magnus's trap. This game is over. Magnus realized this rook's only safe square is b4. So if he can prevent Black from accessing this next move, he traps the rook after knight c4. And that's exactly what he did with a brilliant move, bishop to b5, forcing Judith Polgar to resign the game. The players shake hands, with Magnus still remaining as the undisputed chess world champion.